So JJ Redick's comments yesterday about the I was about to say the Mavericks. Oh my God, because it's about Luka. About the Lakers became a huge headline. Let's take a listen to what JJ had to say.
The work that's required in an off season to be in championship shape, and we have a ways to go as a roster, and certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. That's where my mind goes immediately is we have to get in championship shape.
Okay, so the question becomes, was it a fair call out? Do we like that he called out Luka? Pat Costello, our producer, has a lot on this because I think he is very angered, what a surprise, by some of the commentary around this. Pat.
Yeah, if Luka takes this the way that you all are taking it, this is a horrible mistake by JJ Redick and the Lakers. I mean, you got a guy who was traded away in the middle of the night, who did not want to leave the team that he was already on, who threw his phone and shattered it in anger, who cried when he got back, and who is not necessarily on your team long term, and now you're calling him fat? Like, that's a terrible mistake. That's not going to work. Why would he want to stay there?
Is it because part of the reason why he's playing on this team that you're saying he doesn't want to play on is because of his conditioning? So why is that a bad thing?
Or is he not a top 5 player in the NBA?
He absolutely is.
So what are we talking about?
Okay, he's a top 5.
He averaged
top 5
30 in the series.
He also gave up 30 every night.
Conditioning and his defense contribute to the Lakers' first-round exit?
Yeah, sure, it contributed to it, but so did LeBron, who's in some of the best shape we've ever seen at 40. Like, we're all of a sudden it's just Luka's fault for being fat?
So a head coach, and let's not use that word, okay?
We're calling him out of shape. That's what we're saying. We're saying he's not in shape. Not in championship shape.
Pleasantly plump. How's that?
Oh, my God.
First of all, it's plump, not plump. Plum is a fruit.
I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. If you're saying that he's out of shape, call him out of shape.
Husky.
Jeez, there's a big difference between having a lack of conditioning and talking about someone's body.
JJ said it in a fair way. He's not in championship condition.
He's not in championship condition.
Neither is anyone on the Lakers. They just got bounced in the first round. Now we're only blaming Luka for this?
Luka is the epicenter of everything they need moving forward. If he is not going to dedicate himself to doing the best he can to get in championship shape, to make sure that he is ready to go for his team moving forward, why is that not on the table for the head coach to point out the obvious for what his star player needs to do in the offseason?
Because he just walked off the podium when the obvious got pointed out to him. He can't handle the obvious. Now he wants Luka to, who's not even under contract.
That's a good one.
Also, Smalls, to your point of he's like Rob Pelinka mentioned LeBron, like talking about LeBron having high expectations. It sounds like to me they're still building this team around LeBron.
Let's play that cut, Nuno. Nuno's now wanting to enter the throw to his own cuts here. Here's Rob Pelinka with what Nuno's referring to.
LeBron is a GOAT, one of the GOATs of the game, and he's a completely selfless leader, and I think we saw that in this playoff series, moving to playing more off the ball and committing to the defensive end, and I think it's just a testament to his championship DNA and character, and I think LeBron's going to have high expectations for the roster, and we're going to do everything we can to meet those, but I also know that whatever it is, he's going to still give his 100% every night, whether that's scoring, assisting, defending, rebounding, leading. We know that's going to always be 100%, never wavers.
Why is this a bad thing, Pat, that Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick are talking about giving 100%? How is that in any way a bad thing? How is somehow being gentle, taking a gentle parenting approach to Luka beneficial to him?
How is this a gentle parenting approach? You're calling him out in the media for no reason.
You're saying calling
What do you mean for no reason?
For no reason.
They just got bounced in 5 games when they had home court advantage. What are you talking about, no reason?
So why are
you're
they
saying
doing
taking a hard approach is a bad thing?
There's a reason. He's one of the 2 best players on the team, and he was absolutely atrocious on defense, and that's half the damn game.
Yeah, but you're assuming he's going to be there long term. You don't even know if LeBron's coming back. You're assuming LeBron's coming back, and Luka might not come back after next year.
So, Pat,
you're just making all these assumptions about this long-term future that the Lakers have for a team that Luka never wanted to be on in the first place.
There is something to that.
It's fair to make that assumption about Luka Doncic being there long term, because if he isn't there long term, it's an organizational failure. it's an absolute disaster if Luka Doncic is not going to extend with the LA Lakers at some point over the next calendar year.
Why? Luka doesn't care if it's an organizational failure for the Lakers.
I know he
didn't
doesn't
want to be on the team.
I know he did. Well, first of all, saying he didn't want to be on the team is a very different thing than saying he wanted to stay in Dallas. Like, he wanted to stay in Dallas. Dallas no longer had that as an option. Now he's with the Los Angeles Lakers, the most visible franchise on the face of the planet as far as basketball is concerned. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Luka doesn't want to be in LA. He did want to be in Dallas. They closed the door on him. They kicked him out. He's with LA. JJ Redick wrapped his arms around him. The whole franchise did. And now everybody, including the head coach, is stating the obvious. In order for the Lakers to get where everybody expects them to go, which is contending for a championship, Luka has to be in better shape. And I hate the fact that we always point to Luka taking a team to the conference finals, Luka taking a team to the NBA finals. The point of the exercise is to win a championship, and he hasn't done that. One of the ways that he can get closer to that is being in better shape. One of the ways he can get closer to that is being more committed on the defensive end. Yeah, he might not ever be a great defender. What we're saying is that we hope he's not as much of a liability. The guy gave up 9 blow-bys in Game 5, 9 layups. It's the most any player has given up in a single game this postseason. It's unacceptable. He has to be better.
Also, isn't being in shape one of the basic job requirements of a professional athlete?
Wouldn't know on either, being in shape or being a professional athlete.
Like, why is this so outrageous that a head coach would call out a star player for not doing one of the most basic things that is required of him for his job?
The answer is because it's 2025. I'm dead serious. That's the answer. Because we're uncomfortable with the call out in the year that we're in, with the way in which the modern day athlete, I'm not saying every one of them. There are many modern day athletes that don't like the call out because the athlete has more power than ever before, which is great. But a lot of them don't like being called out.
Man, the man makes $43 million a year. I mean, you can be committed to being in shape for $40 million a year.
And he could be committed to another team after next season.
Pat, very quickly.
And that's fair, Pat. But all of the criticisms that we've heard about the Dallas Mavericks making a decision, they all of a sudden get validated if Luka Doncic runs away from the challenge that JJ Redick just laid down. If what I'm asking you as a head coach is to be in better shape, and that is the impetus for you deciding you're going to go to yet another place, then Nico Harrison is validated for the decision to move on from Luka. Not validated for the trade package that he got in return, because I think that was ridiculous. He should have got more. But he is absolutely validated for the decision to turn the page from Luka Doncic, because there's no way you can commit $300 million on a long-term contract extension to a professional athlete that doesn't want to keep himself in shape and that's oft injured.
Pat, when we come back, I want you to answer a question. If he did the call out after the contract extension was signed, would you be okay with it? We're going to get to that coming up. We want your phone calls as well at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Good move or bad move by JJ Redick calling out Luka. We're assuming it's Luka in terms of champion.